3, 2, 1, and we live! Hey friends, this is Ernie from the Trader of Futures. Here, I haven't been online for quite a while to talk about Bitcoin, that is. Doing videos almost on a daily basis, but I've been focusing on PatternCast, our trader's signal service. And before I start, just to let you know, there's 3 days left to take advantage of a huge discount in commemoration with the launching of our new website, PatternCast.com. And you can go there and you can check out the testimonials. You can check out the results. I'll have the results for June updated this weekend. And you can also take advantage of the deal that we have. And to get an addition, so there's a 1 week trial. And then if you use the word pattern in the code for the coupon, PATTERN, you'll get another nice surprise. And it's really worth it. Really worth it just to check it out. You may be skeptical. That's why we put together this, easy to get into deal so you can see how it is. You can get into our trade room, talk to our traders, and ask them, hey, is this stuff for real? Or is it all just hype? And then watch for yourself. I think you'll be convinced. Anyways, all eyes. Ernie, this internet money is getting scary. When are we shorting the Ponzi? Short Bitcoin. Everyone wants to short Bitcoin. So where are we? Have I misled or led astray people with regards to Bitcoin over the past several months? I don't think so. I called the top months before it actually happened, to the day. I called every single major drive down, and then made the prognostication that it would be about 1.5 to 2 years before I felt that Bitcoin would have a resurgence. Minimum. We're right about there right now. I also said that it would languish and move sideways for a long time. That we would occasionally have a bounce up. Now, I don't know if this is one of those bounces up, but one thing that I can tell you is that when I look at things like, let's take a look at the Google Trends on Bitcoin. Let's just take a look at that. All right, so here's the Google Trends on Bitcoin for the past 2.5 years, 3, let's see. Wow. Yeah, 2 years. So I was right, 1.5 to 2 years. It behaved exactly as I had predicted. From that point where I called the top, almost to the present day, I've said short every rally, and then that has been spot on. There is no denying that. We could take a look at Bitcoin over that period of time, just to confirm. And let's bring up BTC USD. Just a little, there we go. So that prediction was spot on. We started to move up here. As we started to move up, I recognized that this looked like another pump, maybe turning into an exponential move. So I held off on telling people to short. I said, wait for this thing to get up around 8,000, let it round off. And then you could take the possibility of a short, which I did. and that turned out to be very good. We caught this red candle here. I personally went long again. What I actually did was I did not have a margin account, so I sold my Bitcoin into US dollars at about 7,800. Bought back in around, around 80, I think it was around 8,000. Bought back in around 7,000. And then when it got up to about 97.50, I thought it would be a good idea to switch to Litecoin. And so I did that. I did a flip with the Coinbase app on your phone. You can do that without commission or slippage or anything. It's pretty cool. So I switched directly from Bitcoin to Litecoin at 97.50. Now it turns out that was, a little bit early and probably not the best move. Had I held on to Bitcoin and attempted to ride it up to as high as it went, I think it went as high as 13.8, and now it's pulled back a good 2,000 points since then. That would have been a better move. But right now I'm sitting in Litecoin, and one of the reasons why I did that was when you look at the Litecoin to Bitcoin ratio. So LTC, BTC, that's what we're showing right here. You can see this move. Very sharp move. And right near the bottom, that's where I made that decision. Right about there. And we really haven't moved much from there since then. So what I'm looking to do is play that ratio. Wait for Litecoin with respect to Bitcoin to regain some of that value. And then once I'm up here again, then I will then move that back into BTC USD. So I think that's that to me seems like a very sound way to play this. Now, do I believe that we're in the next rise to this meteoric rise that everyone talks about in lore? I don't think so. I think that we've hit the top of this move. I think that this was all manufactured. I hearken back to the Bitcoin trend, Google Trends, and we can see here very clearly. This is a very clear indication about or towards the number of people or the level of interest in Bitcoin. Now you can see right at the end here where we had this massive rise, we have a little hook up, you might say. It's nothing like what we had before, little hook up. This is telling me that we do not have the same interest that we had way back here when people just went nuts. Most of these people have been burned, and they're not coming back anytime soon. You would need a whole new crowd to move Bitcoin higher now. So for that reason, I don't believe Bitcoin is going much higher. And so what I think is going to happen is we'll have I guess you could call it a mini bubble. Maybe a bubble about approximately 60% of the previous bubble. And that's what we're seeing here. And it looks very, very similar to the previous bubble. Same attributes. So the telltale sign will be, will we have another push up? Will we start moving sideways and then have maybe a secondary top and then cap there and then move down, which is more likely? That's what I see happening. So if we look at this weekly Bitcoin, we had the same sort of thing. Moved up, pulled back, moved up again, and then big pullback. Known and established and natural bubble pattern. It's the anatomy of a bubble. And then pull back again, and then move sideways. We will have that first dead cat bounce and successive dead cat bounces that will diminish, and then we will continue moving sideways. Because we're not ready. We're not ready from an ecosystem point of view. We're not ready from a public awareness point of view. We are not ready from a network saturation or network growth point of view. We are not ready from a government acceptance point of view. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. We have not yet rid ourselves of all the shitcoins that are out there. So that's where I believe we are. Again, I am anticipating another move that will be equal to the previous move, maybe establish a new high, and then a big pullback. Then, I'm repeating this, a secondary lower move up, and then a big pullback followed by successive dead cat diminishing bounces until it starts leveling off and then moving sideways again. Until, all of these things that I have mentioned come together. So, really, there's been nothing inconsistent with what I've been calling this entire time. As a matter of fact, it has been remarkably consistent. Now, I guess one thing is that, why are we having this sort of intermediate, weaker bubble? Why? Where is it coming from? It's certainly not coming from, renewed interest with the public. That simply doesn't exist. The ecosystem is definitely more mature since then. There's been a lot of companies, entering the market. There has been some, not Facebook. I doubt it's Facebook at all. As a matter of fact, Facebook, first of all, I still fundamentally do not believe in Bitcoin as a, from a libertarian point of view. I think all the libertarians that are looking at Bitcoin are looking at it completely wrong. This is not something that's going to free you from censorship and give you independence and independent money with some level of anonymity. That's not happening. As a matter of fact, Bitcoin is the ultimate in recording everything about you and what you do. This is not deniable. And Facebook, that's all Facebook is. Facebook, if they have it their way, they'll wrap all of you up in a nice tidy bow. They'll know everything about you now. Not only your surfing habits on the web, your buying habits, but every single transaction that you make. If you do buy into the Libra coin, will be recorded in infamy. It is the next step to a social score. Something that's being implemented in China right now. This is the ultimate in tyranny. This is not the ultimate in freedom. It's exactly the opposite. Well, yes, I believe that they are manipulating Tether. And we all know that Tether is a fraud. It was admitted to as much several months ago. And now there's been this unbelievable liquidity push inside Tether. The fraudulent company that has pushed Bitcoin up. My God! All eyes, he doesn't agree anymore. Appreciates my views. Grab my BTC under 5K. The math adds up over 100K. There's no math. What math? There is no frigging math. I just gave you the math. Bitcoin is 100% dependent on the strength and the size of the network, the number of nodes that are in the network, it is very clear that that number of nodes has not increased significantly, if at all. So there is no math. That is a fantasy. Rasmus says, regular people are very not ready. They still think Bitcoin is shit from last bubble. Of course they do. And all those people that got killed in that last bubble, they ain't coming back, right? Not now. Not for a long time. Institutions and all that don't. They buy now and people buy at 50. The institutions are manipulating this. They're hedging all their bets. Speaking of hedging, one of the primary Bitcoin futures products was defunct. The one that was sponsored by Gemini and the CBOE no longer exists. The CME Bitcoin still exists. And that's really the only true futures product that you can trust from an institutional point of view. Gladiator says, Ernie, there's no way to keep privacy nowadays. That luxury for people is long gone already. We are becoming just plain numbers and puppets of the system. That's fine for you. That's not fine for me. I will do everything to my dying breath to keep my independence. I will not succumb, ever. Ever! The sheep may, but not me. And there are many people like me. Cliff High, you're quoting Cliff High, said 100K Bitcoin parties, oi, math checks out. Where is this math checks out? Show me the equations! No one has the math. The math checks out. It's such bullshit. John McAfee's math. Most people that got killed are nearly back break even. No, most people that get killed are out and gone. Most people are out and gone. There is math. They'll break it to you. Show it to me. There is no math. Game theory. You don't even understand what game theory is. A 7 trillion cap for Bitcoin is over 100K. Easy math. So what does that have to do with anything? So we're going to continue to value Bitcoin in terms of US dollars. That means that Bitcoin really has no intrinsic value of itself. You don't see this, though. So this does not mean that I won't take advantage of moves. I'm just, giving you, my opinion for whatever it's worth. For the 60-something years that I've had on this earth, amassing a very eclectic and I would say high-end technical career and business career, with an understanding, I think, that is, fairly good. I could be wrong. I haven't been wrong yet. That doesn't mean I won't be wrong. Sammy Zuko says, for better or worse, I'll ride it out. Whatever happens with percentage of my portfolio, risk-reward is worth it to me. Yeah, I feel the same way. I've got a small percentage in it. Small. Just in case. Just in case I'm wrong. You never know. Simple math. You just did it. That's not math. That's making up shit. 100,000 Bitcoin equals $7 trillion. It's just making up 100,000. You can't just make it up. I mean, to say that there's math, that's like me saying, yeah, if I were a foot taller, I'd be 6'10". The math is there. I've proven it conclusively that I am destined for 6'10" tall as soon as I grow a foot taller. Hi, Liam. How you doing? By the way, Liam, if you want access, go to Discord and then identify yourself there in private message to me, and I'll give you access to the PatternCast. Chuck A says, conspiracy theory, Facebook Libra coin is possibly a sacrificial crypto. No, they're putting everything into this. United States bans Libra. Well, United States is going to ban all crypto, I'm sure. If most people, I don't see that really. There are too many politicians that are dead set against any kind of crypto threatening the US dollar, because that threatens all of their power. Gonna shut up now, says Rasmus. But hey, get out of stocks crap and talk Bitcoin. Maybe you get more people. Hey, my channel's growing. My channel's growing. And it will continue to grow. And then soon I'll be back to where I was. I will surpass that. I will go to 20. I will go to 30. I will go to 50. I will go to 100,000 people. It's just a matter of time. There are very few people out here actually speaking rationally. Audrey says, I'm now on the FEMA camp list. Yes, they're going to set one up in my backyard. I've got plenty of room. Acres and acres. Fresh water. Everything you could want. Memphis says, screw Bitcoin, trade oil like a boss. Unhackable profits. Well, I mean, look. No one knows what's going to happen with Bitcoin. With PatternCast, we take a very rational approach. We're using machine pattern recognition and examining decades of data and churning out winner after winner after winner. Again, if you're interested in that, go check it out. Bitcoin is catching a bid because world banks are about to turn fiat into confetti. I don't think so. If the United States enters negative interest rates, we're not anywhere close to that. Bitcoin and gold and silver will skyrocket. Yeah. I just don't believe it. The U.S. government is using Facebook as their arm to control the masses. Now, it's actually quite the opposite. There are enough people that disdain Facebook and the power that they've amassed. They don't have control over Facebook, other than the regulatory and control that they can do, that they can impose on them. And it's not just how it does it in China. We are not China. We don't act like China. Sorry. Good try, but that's... The United States is fundamentally different. You like the shirt? Thank you. It's a black dog shirt. So All Eyes wants to know who hits 100K first, your channel or BTC? Oh, definitely my channel. It's going to take about a year and a half for me to hit 100K. Michael Goldman says, I remember when you called the top in December 2017, you were bashing Bitcoin and millennials. Yes. I'm a millennial, but heeded your words because of your software development background. Well, thank you. And I was right. But, I don't have just a software development background. I have a very strong background in technology management at the highest levels, within at the Fortune 5 level. Libra doesn't want to take over crypto. They want to take over the dollar. They can't do it without the dollar, though. See, it cannot exist without the dollar. They don't want to take it over. They cannot become... And first of all, the United States, the government, the people in power would not allow it to happen. It would never happen. Trust me. They would shut it down very fast. Nobody watches or wants rational Ernie, not Bernie. My name is Ernie. There's no B. Paul Marino says, I've heard China is trying to crack the BTC blockchain. Well, that's another very interesting point. I mean, soon we're going to have more access to quantum computers, and it's said that quantum computers have the power to crack the Bitcoin SSL, the Bitcoin crypto keys. Once that happens, then what do you do? If that happens, it will be worth 37 cents the next day on no volume. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, the first day that someone comes out and then says that, yes, we cracked a Bitcoin key, we're able to compromise a wallet, Bitcoin price will drop like a rock. Daniel Train says, if I've never done futures trading and don't have time to watch the markets during the day, can I still do PatternCast? Absolutely. First of all, we trade futures, forex, and stocks. We're building a growing list of stocks as we improve the automation in the technology. All of the signals and setups are given the day before. So you have plenty of time. You can set them all up and then just have them all get triggered automatically. So yeah, it's not like these day trading rooms where you have to be in there and wait for a call. No, all the calls are done in advance. Not all of them trigger. Only about during really high volatility times, about 30% of them trigger. Right now we're around 15 to 20% of them trigger, but we're putting out about 20 to 25 signals a night. So we get a couple that trigger every day. So, anywhere from 5 to 10 a week. Our profitability is really incredible. 65% of all the calls that trigger hit or exceed the target, and exceed it by, on an average, of 200% of the target. 70% hit at least 70% of the target. 96% over a 4-day period, that's our self-imposed limit. 96% over a 4-day period end up positive. That's an incredible positive bias, positive skew. Let's see. Ernie, could you look at TA of the... No, I'm not looking at any crypto. I am not interested in any crypto at all. I'm interested in Litecoin and Bitcoin. That's about it. Audrey asks, Bernie Sanders. I hope they're not listening to him either, Audrey. I am not Bernie, I am Ernie. All I says, I'm betting Bitcoin, but I have high hope for your channel also, Coach. Thank you. Well, like I said, I'm going to hedge my bets, All Eyes. I'm also going to have a very small portion of my money into Bitcoin. And actually, I'm going to play that Litecoin Bitcoin swing. As I said I watch the ratio here, right here, and this dip right here, this big dip right here, to me that's significant. That's a significant spread change in the relative value of Litecoin versus Bitcoin. And I think that that's going to close up. When that closes up, I'm going to use the Litecoin that I obtained down here and then put it into Bitcoin and let it ride up. And I'll just keep on doing that without any commission or anything like that. Like I said, Coinbase has a really fantastic app on the phone, and you can do that automatically right on the app. No commissions, no spread. Mutz says, hey, Big Shot, wasn't Bitcoin supposed to be dead by now, according to you? I never said that. Ever. Never said that Bitcoin would be dead. As a matter of fact, I've said exactly the opposite. I've said that it would go for a year to 2 years sideways, which it did. I said at least, because there's nobody that can really see beyond that. And so now we have this new intermediary bubble, and I believe that's all it is just an intermediary bubble that is manufactured. It's not caused by an influx of new interest in Bitcoin. It's just not. There is no evidence to that. James Levinson says, your PatternCast membership is too expensive. Can us noobs get a discount? Well, there is a discount to get in. And it's really not that expensive. Virtually any trade that you make will pay for the next 3 to 5 months of the service. So how is that possibly considered expensive? Try a week trial, costs you $1. After that, you can use the code to get $50 off the discounted price right now. That'll bring you down to $100. So the first 5 weeks will only cost you $100. And for that 5 weeks, you can test it out yourself. You don't have to trade it. Just watch it. Talk to the people in the room. Find out what they're doing. Find out how they've fared. If it doesn't work, cancel the membership. The worst that's going to happen is you lose $100. The best that's going to happen is that you'll take any of the trades and you'll make much better than that. Government is pushing out Libra fast to take back control because they know Bitcoin will take over soon. They don't know. Nobody knows that. And they're not going to allow that either. I just don't see it. There's been plenty of politicians very recently that have really stated exactly the opposite, that they will not allow that to happen. And I believe them. They'll do whatever they have to do, and it won't take much to upset the network. And Raziel, I agree. If quantum computers are already here. What we need are good APIs and good interfaces to the quantum computers so that they can start solving these problems, and enough of them, and accessibility. And yes, somebody will crack the Bitcoin code. That will happen, and I agree. Once that happens, it'll be bad. So as I said, I believe that there will be another push up on Bitcoin. So you just noted, Audrey, that it just shot up to 12,287. And I said that I think that it will probably equal or slightly better the previous high, and then it will pull back sharply. That's what I'm looking for. At what price would you short Bitcoin? I wouldn't short Bitcoin until we got the secondary push up and then it starts moving down. At that point, I would short Bitcoin. Because once we get that secondary lower high, then the bubble anatomy, the bubble pattern will be confirmed. So that's what I'd be waiting for. And it's probably going to be another move up to about 12 to 13,000 and then push down. Libra is a trap door to get your Bitcoin. That, Bleedheart, that might be. It really might. Gladiator. Can't be that easy. Trading is hard work, and you have to be involved full time. It depends on what style of trading that you do. What can't be that easy? That's why I say, I'm offering a very low barrier to entry to check it out yourself and then see how easy or how hard it is. Simple as that. And then you can decide for yourself. If you think it's too hard and not for you, discount it. If it works out for you, great. A95 says Tether supply is what only increased. Yes, I had mentioned that earlier, that I felt that Tether, which has largely been shown to be a fraud, is where most of this liquidity came from. So what is the span of Bitcoin's life then, Ernie? Asked Gladiator. I don't know. Could be hundreds of years. I have no idea. Really, I have no idea. I can't predict the future. All I know is that until there is a larger network and renewed interest and greater involvement and a stronger ecosystem, it's not going to go very far from where it is now. So false flag rise. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but yeah, I think that this is a false flag. Brigham says, I have been hearing institutional investing coming next month. But see, they've been saying that every month. Every friggin' month since the fall of 2017. So Fidelity, Bakkt, and the NYSE all launching Bitcoin products in 2 days. That's fine. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If it moves up, I think that what that may produce is that secondary high right here, or right there, little secondary high, and then people will realize that there's a lot of not there, and then it will come down again. That's my prediction. Could be different. I don't know. Could be different. All right, folks, I want to thank everybody. So it's better to sell, says Enrique Coscaneto. Cesaneto. Well, I don't know how to pronounce that. So it's better to sell? I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. I am currently in Litecoin. I switched from Bitcoin to Litecoin because of the reasons that I explained a little earlier. I am going to play the difference between Bitcoin and Litecoin by playing the ratio, the Litecoin-Bitcoin ratio. So whenever, this is what's behind me here is LTC-BTC. That's the pair of LTC. See, right now, LTC relative to BTC is very low. So that's why I switched from Bitcoin to Litecoin, so I could buy more Litecoin. When that rises, I will then switch from Litecoin to Bitcoin so I can buy more Bitcoin, because Litecoin will have a relative value greater than Bitcoin. And then I'll keep on doing that so I can keep on accumulating more Bitcoin. It's only a small amount of money, but over time, I can increase the value of it. Assuming that Litecoin is going to stay with it. That's the assumption, that Litecoin will have a life. I believe it will. Would you recommend entering along here? No, not after this push up. Not after a sharp push up. I'd wait to see how it pans out. Like I said, I could be wrong. Haven't heard many people hyping the launch through which is weird. Okay, Raziel, what are you talking about? The launch of what? So, okay, Rasmus thinks that Litecoin will live also. No, this is a Boston Red Sox hat, not a Bitcoin hat. But yeah, I guess, you could think that that's the reference. Boston Red Sox. All right. I'm done for now. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. So I just want to reiterate that what my plan is. My plan is to play this Litecoin Bitcoin spread. Right now, Litecoin relative to Bitcoin is undervalued. That's why I switched to Litecoin. When it moves up, I will switch it over to Bitcoin, and then vice versa. That's right, Iceman. I am not a fortune teller. I'm trying to play the odds and what I see out there in the market, playing it close to the vest. I'm not going to overextend myself with my money. If Bitcoin does take off, there'll be plenty of time. That's right, Audrey. It is a Boston Red Sox hat. Does our PatternCast do crypto? No, we can't do crypto because there simply isn't enough data. We only do assets that have 20 or more years of data from a reputable and regulated exchange. Bitcoin is made up of a number of unregulated exchanges with only about 9 years of good data. Not even, I wouldn't even call it good. Good data. It's just data from a bunch of unregulated exchanges. It's very difficult to come up with patterns and use our system and pattern recognition to find something of value. Maybe sometime in the future that will happen, but not right now. Are you trading micros? I am not personally, but it is something that we are recommending in our trade room. For people who have smaller accounts, they can easily get into the PatternCast system by trading micro futures and also micro forex. And of course, with stocks, you can trade any number of shares that you want. So you can actually trade with the PatternCast system with a very small account. There are people with accounts as small as $5,000 that can be quite successful. But you have to trade those micro accounts. Then once you get a bigger account, then you can start moving up to the mini futures and the full size futures and the full size forex. So you can grow in terms of your leverage with PatternCast. How many games behind are the Sox now? I think around 5, but I'm not sure. Hey Siri, how many games are the Red Sox behind the Yankees? 6.5 games. You'll switch from Litecoin to Bitcoin when it starts moving up or when it's already moved up? No. I will switch. See the chart behind me. The chart behind me is LTC BTC. So in other words, it's the pair of LTC and BTC. Litecoin being in the front. So when that pair drops, that means Litecoin is undervalued compared to Bitcoin. When that happens, you use your Bitcoin, because it is overvalued, to buy more Litecoin. So you switch from BTC USD to LTC USD. When this goes up, you take your Litecoin, because now Litecoin is overvalued compared to Bitcoin, and you change that from LTC USD to BTC USD, thereby increasing the number of Bitcoin that you have. And you just keep on doing that seesaw. And as you can see, it's happened a few times here. A couple of big moves. And now is one of those opportune times, and that's what I did. I missed by a couple $1,000s on this move up. But that's okay. Over time, this will move up to here, and I'll switch over to Bitcoin. That's how I'm playing it. If Bitcoin decides to come way, way down again to, that 4,000, 3,000 era, then I'll add more Bitcoin. Addison asks, is it possible to trade in your system with a small account, corn, soybeans, etc.? Yes. Soybeans have a very low margin requirement. So there are a lot of people that have between $7,000 and $12,000 accounts that are trading. You could select a set. Now, for instance, the indexes now have micro contracts, 1/10 the size. So you have an E-mini S&P contract, which used to be $6,500 of margin. Now there's a 1/10 size one that's only $650 worth of margin. So with a $5,000 account, you could easily trade the E-micro S&P. And there's all the indexes and many of the currencies, as well as energy and metals, all have micro futures accounts. Plus, we also trade Forex, which you can trade in micro lots, mini lots, or full-size lots. So yes, you can, and we trade all the futures, and we trade all the major Forex pairs, and we have a growing list of equities, stocks, and ETNs and ETFs that we're trading as well. We are building up the automation capabilities of PatternCast, and soon we'll be able to scan the entire stock market and have all of that stuff available. When I say soon, maybe in another year or so. I mean, there's a lot of math and a lot of development that has gone into it thus far, so we are where we're at right now. But when we start expanding to more and more ETNs and ETFs, we're going to start creating specialized services for people who are agricultural players, or people who are precious metal players, or people who are index players, or energy players. And then we'll have our generalized service that we have now for people that want to play a broad range of things. So that's where we're going in the future. But, we've only been a business now for about 7 months, so. No, Coinbase did not fleece me on the prices when I swapped. As a matter of fact, I didn't see any difference. What about Ethereum? I don't know. I'm not really a fan of Ethereum. From a security point of view, it's not the best. And no one's really proven out this idea of contracts. And it has gold top for the summer. Okay, let me just say, I am not a seer. I do not make predictions into the future. I only play on things that I think have sound statistical evidence and a fundamental story. I really don't know if gold is topped out. That a lot of that depends on the disposition of the Fed and where we go from here. And I know that there is a growing political battle between Powell and Trump, and we have to see how that plays out, and then also how these tariffs play out. We have the situation with Iran. All of those things are going to be critical in the overall price. But gold has broken out of a multi-year channel, so I mean that's a positive. So I don't know if it's seen its top. It might go higher. I just don't know. SHK and Bitcoin not going down to 3,000 range anytime soon. I have no idea of that either. I'm predicting if this is a bubble and it subsides, maybe in another 6 or 7 months it will. Yeah, give us all the answers. I know, you start talking on the web here and people think that they can ask you any question and you'll have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. Far from it. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for joining. Really appreciate your time and participating here. Yes, Iceman, lock in now and you get every service. You get the full, and you lock in at this price. You know, since we've offered the PatternCast service, we've been raising the price over, it just keeps on raising based on our demand, and people keep on buying it, and the value is still there. Everybody that has bought in from early on has locked in that price forever. This is a price that I think that we'll be at for probably, just to let you know, we've made a deal with one of the largest introducing brokers in the country, as well as the largest Forex broker in the country. And they're going to start, they have made us a preferred third-party resource for them. And they are going to start promoting our service. When that happens and we start getting a big influx of people, the price is going to have to go up. That's why I'm saying, get into the price now and you lock it in. News Unit says get into Junto Coin. I might revitalize the Junto Coin service, but I'm not right now. I'm just too busy with PatternCast. All right, now is the end of the show. I want to thank everybody. I mean, it's been great seeing you. I'm going to be doing these live shows more often. Start building this channel up. Start keeping a real close eye, not only at Bitcoin, but the broader markets. And take a look at some of the videos that I've been producing over the past few days where we're announcing all of our trades and what's happening in PatternCast. You can go to PatternCast.com and check out the results for yourself. Everything is completely transparent. But our Junto coin is still there, right? But it's not worth anything. I wish I could say it was worth something. There's a little silver behind it, but most of the cryptos that it was invested in, they went down to nothing. But anyways, that's that. Thank you all. We'll see you next time. I'm going to probably do a couple of weekend shows. Get prepared for the next week. Next week, I think, is going to be a very exciting week for the markets, both for the crypto and for the regular markets. I think a lot's going to happen after this G20 summit. Ernie, what does a bearish engulfing 4-hour candle tell you? A bearish engulfing on a 4-hour or bigger candle or a longer time frame candle is a powerful signal. It's not the most powerful, but it's one of the more powerful candle setups. What I would do is I would go to the Bukowski site called the Pattern site and look up bearish engulfing. And there you will get really his statistical work on that. Thank you, News Unit. Great advice. And you're right, most cryptos are worthless. All right, now is the time to say goodbye. Thank you all. Take care.